This is Matt Lesniewski, and you're listening to 11 O'Clock Comics.
Countdown to Heroes. It's time.
Oh, second.
Yeah.
You're going to see bases tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
Not looking forward to the flight. It's short, which is good.
Oh, it's like 2 hours.
No, it's not even.
It's not even, yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
It's longer getting to
12:30
the plane than it is to be on the plane.
yeah.
Oh, that's so fun.
Got it. Long time coming.
Whew. Definitely a buyer's convention.
24 months since we've been to Charlotte.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Yes.
Been a while.
Been a while.
And it hasn't really been a while for you people because this is 11 O'Clock Comics, episode 931.
Damn.
I'm Vince B.
You are Vince B. I am David A. Price.
Oui, je suis Mathieu Bablet.
Yeah. So weird. No, you're not. You're not Mathieu Bablet. You're Jason Wood, everybody. All together, talking about comics as usual, sponsored by cheapgraphicnovels.com. You'll save money at cheapgraphicnovels.com. And what are you going to do with that money? Put it in your pocket? Buy a burrito? No. You're going to buy more book. It is the best thing in the world to save money and funnel that savings towards new books. What kind of books? OGNs,
Beautiful books.
omnibus editions, trade paperback collections, manga, just so much from which to choose available at cheapgraphicnovels.com. You'll be like, where has this place been all my life? And Max will reward you. If you are a first-time buyer, what you're going to do is you're going to place an order, and you're going to get an email confirmation. You're going to respond to that email confirmation saying, my good buddies at 11 O'Clock Comics told me about this place. And Max will give you free shipping on your next order. Limit yourself initially. Then, when you get the free shipping, go hog wild. It's what we all do. Save the money, make new book. cheapgraphicnovels.com.
You notice.
Yes.
You know, I just placed an order. You know what I ordered?
Rom Volume 3.
Well, I think I pre-ordered that.
Okay,
but no,
me too.
The thing I most recently ordered, another pre-order, I ordered the Style Guide. DC Style Guide.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
That's going on my order, yeah.
Yeah,
First
I don't
time it's
need
ever
that.
been available to the public. So.
That's nice. I'm glad it exists. I'm really glad it exists. I don't need it. What I do need, did you see what was in this previews?
Haven't looked at previews yet.
No, not yet.
Simpsons Treehouse of Horror, Volume 3.
Yes.
Last one. Yep.
Yes.
Finishes off the run.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How's the die cut look?
Great. Looks awesome.
Nice.
Yep. Completely different.
Beautiful packaging on those.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah, it's stupid how beautiful those books are. Glow in the dark, die cut, spot varnish. Like they go all slipcase.
Oh, man,
what else? What else can we throw in here? Which is great. And I'm glad. I just wish they would do a Simpsons archive. I know there are trade paperback collections. They're not chronological. They're by theme, most of them. Let's get a chronological reprinting of the Simpsons run. All 250 whatever issues of the Simpsons and Bart Simpson, Itchy and Scratchy, all of them. Get them all
of this.
That could be a nice little moneymaker. I'm not saying it would be top of the charts, for whatever month, but that'd be a steady income for someone, probably Matt Groening. But, I want those on my shelves. I would devote an entire bookcase to Simpsons comics if they came out with all of these. It would be great. But that's just me. What are we drinking?
What are you drinking?
More Sam Adam. More Red Zone Lager.
Okay.
Yes, my taste buds are aflutter. There they go.
I am enjoying some Victor Small Batch unblended American whiskey with a splash of seltzer.
How does one define a splash? Like
It says, yeah.
Is it like just a Like a quick pour? Is it like half
I think
and
it's an
half?
unquantifiable amount. Like I don't think there's a unit of measurement. Yeah, there's not a specific unit of measurement called a splash because it varies.
Right, and be obviously because of the spout on this bottle, like this would be a bigger splash than like, a splash of bitters because it's just got this small little hole at the tip. So it's,
It's very unscientific.
Just the tip,
It's okay. Oh boy.
Nice.
Yeah. And Jason's not drinking at all.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing exciting.
He
never beer.
He hit his limit on Saturday.
Never again.
Never again. It's from last Saturday until next Thursday. Still 2 days from now, we'll drink again. We have and just because the deadline is Friday, I just want everybody to remember that you still have time to send Peter Drummond your info for the EOC June gift exchange. It's pdrummondcontact@gmail.com. EOC 2024 in the subject line, your first and last name, and if you are down with shipping internationally, or if you would prefer to just ship domestically, because the name you get will either reside in your country or overseas. So you'll send Peter your info. After he assembles everything, he will let you know who you are giving to, as well as who you will be receiving from. And you can take that information and reach out to the person you are gifting, find out their likes, dislikes, their interests. You can, once you hit it off, you can find out if you're going to be sending them books, movies, toys, whatever. There is really no rules with this. You're just sharing your love of what you love with other people.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know this.
Yep. Comics, we got them. Let's talk about them.
It is a great time to be alive, Vince.
No kidding.
Right?
I
was just making a blanket statement.
It is. There's a lot of very, very good comics out there. I'm not going to tip it, either way and saying, oh, more than ever, or, not so much as in past years. There's just a lot of really good comics out there right now.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to hear about one, or do you want to go first?
I would love to hear about one.
Nice. Well, you read this. I don't know if Jason read this. I didn't really check the list. I'll do so right now very quickly just to see if he read this. I don't think he did because he doesn't read good stuff.
Just got done talking about Dawn Runner.
I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding. But I know David read this. Again, with the Phillip Kennedy Johnson love.
Wow.
Oh, I'm out.
Fred Van Lente month.
This is published by our friends at Boom, with an exclamation point. Written by Phillip Kennedy Johnson. Illustrated by someone named Sohm. S-O-M.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Sohm or Som, but yeah.
It could be. Either way. Color art by Patricio Delpeche. It's called Crocodile Black, of which this is the first issue. I don't know if it's an ongoing or a miniseries. I don't know. But I was compelled to read it based solely on the cover. And
the Andrea Sorrentino cover?
Maybe. It is the one with Danny on the park bench with
chilling on the park bench.
Yeah, with the crocodile. Yeah, it's a nice cover. It's a painted cover. It's really beautiful. It's the story takes place in 2021, thick of the pandemic, right?
Yep.
Danny is a troubled young man. He has some kind of severe obsessive disorder. It's unspecified, but it's an obsessive disorder to the point where he needs to be regulated. Like his online time is very limited. He's in therapy, seems to be in frequent contact with his therapist, uses drawing as a release and a psychic salve. His family, with the exception of his father, dotes on him. Like they want him to interact with people, and they're very curious about what he's doing every day, or if he's managing. Are you okay? Are you how you feeling today? It just seems like Danny has problems, right? which probably stemmed from, in part, from the fact that his younger brother, Matty, disappeared under mysterious circumstances. So I'm guessing that plays into whatever's weighing heavily on Danny to instigate or to contribute to whatever condition he has. Danny's also very prone to hallucinations, which take the form of these like little psychic scribbles. He's a grocery delivery person, and at one point in the issue, he's looking in the back seat of this car, and he sees this little scribble that looks like a young child. I'm assuming his lost brother Matty. So he sees things, right? One day he's on a delivery, and he walks into the client's house, and there's a dead man. An old man dead in a recliner, and there's very specific focus on this man's footwear. They're crocodile skin boots, and we don't know it until later in the issue. But Danny takes the boots, right? Danny's at odds with his father. His father seems to be an asshole. I mean, this is the first issue. Yeah, it's the first issue, so we don't really know a lot of the wrinkles in this tapestry yet, but surface level, Danny's father seems to be a jerk, right? Mm-hmm. Dad makes allusions that maybe Danny's involvement in his brother's disappearance was more than was let on, or that, Danny harbors some kind of anger-based issues, and maybe he contributed to his brother's disappearance. That's what the father kind of infers at the breakfast table. But here's the thing: there's a wrap around this narrative where the issue opens with a hitman, a very effective hitman. He enters this very wealthy.
Not effective.
Oh,
he's sloppy. He's sloppy.
Well, but he's effective. I mean, if your job is to go in and kill somebody, and you do it with impunity, I think you're pretty effective. Like, it doesn't matter how sloppy you are.
The idea is not to really leave too many clues.
But that's the thing; he doesn't really care.
Exactly.
Yeah, he doesn't really care, because the hitman goes in, and it seems like this hitman has built up a rather strong reputation, because one of the targets reacts very surprisingly, like, "Oh, you're the guy they say is blah blah blah," and summarily has his life snuffed out. But the kicker is here, the killer's wearing crocodile skin boots.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the safe bet is that maybe Danny went over the edge somewhere along the line. There's a month of time passes between events in this issue, but you don't really know. But we can assume, based on the cover and the events of the issue, that this killer probably is Danny. It's very explicit when Danny's in the car delivering groceries that he's smoking, and the killer's smoking. And Danny takes the snakeskin or the crocodile skin boots, and the killer wears crocodile skin boots. Like, what are the odds, right? So we don't know yet, but I think this issue was very effective in that it hooked me from the get-go. Sam's art is very beautiful. The figure drawing is very nice. The color application is spot on, beautiful. I was enthralled. Like, what are these hallucinations? What is happening? Right? Could the therapist be the kid? Like, you don't know who it is. There's no rock solid conclusion in this first issue, as all first issues. It should be, right? It should compel you to read more. But I thought, for what we got in this issue and for where we were left at the end, I thought, wow, this is surprising. I didn't expect this. I'm enjoying this. I will read the next whatever issues to find out what's going on here. It's a little bit on the creepy side too, because there are many panels where you'll see a snake, or Danny's eating at the breakfast table and his food turns into the crocodile boot, and it has teeth, and he's scooping the food out of the mouth of this crocodile teethed thing on his plate is really cool. It's almost surreal. It's very surreal in some spots. I liked it a lot. What did you think, Deb?
I liked it as well. I don't think fascination is the right word. I tend to get my interest is piqued. I tend to kind of focus. I'm a little bit more interested when stories that are revolved around the pandemic era. For I don't know why. So this is an era of time that's close to where we are now. So we can all kind of relate to it. But yeah, I can appreciate. I want to call her Summer, Danny's sister and mom, for offering support. They remind him that he is loved. They might be a little overbearing. They might remind him a little bit too often or too much, but he is troubled, and they are there for him. So I like that aspect of the family dynamic.
I hope he kills his whole family.
That's an absolute piece of shit. Well, his sister, mom's a bit much. Reminds me of the mom from that '70s show, but at least the sister I can respect, because a lot of times you get siblings where one annoys the other and they want nothing to do with the other. They just so I like what I'm seeing so far. But were Danny to snap and take them all out, I wouldn't be surprised. We are supposed to obviously feel something for Danny because of everything that we can assume he's gone through. But yeah, Dad is an absolute piece of crap. I understand the tough love and it, going through all of your options and exhausting all of them. Dad obviously lost a child, so he's dealing with it in his own way. But why you would take it out on one of your other children, I can't quite get my head around. But it's not an unusual idea, so it makes sense in the story. I appreciate the nudging that this is all Danny's doing. Whoever is taking out these hits, it's Danny. No two ways about it. Even though we haven't, everything's in shadows, and we haven't blatantly seen these things in action. But as far as the first issue goes, it was there were even some the moments at the start of the issue with the thugs answering the door, and the guy's like, you talking about the pandemic and how you can tell it's really real because you walk into a McDonald's in the afternoon and the place is empty, like nobody is there, and his partner's like, yeah, well, Wendy's is better. And he's like, yeah, bro, that was the entire point of the story, was for you to let me know that Wendy's fries are better than McDonald's. Thanks. I'm glad that's listeners. But
it's amazing how different we are in what we pull out of things we read.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I'm hoping that this is an atypical take on I don't want the killer to be anyone other than Danny. And we don't know, right? Yeah. We don't know who it is now, but I would love to see. I'm not like both of you where I need to have a likable protagonist. Like, I hope he is horrible to the core. I want to read a story where it's written from the perspective of a very unlikable character.
How many more stories can you read?
No, that he just because it's something we don't see that often, right? Right? I don't want redemption for Danny. I don't want him to be cured or be helped. I don't care that the parents love him. I want to see this character fulfill whatever he needs to play out in his life. If it means just going to the point where he just takes out his whole family. Like, give me a reason why that makes sense within the story, and I'd be like, damn, this is something that we rarely see, where it's just the story spirals out of one person's disorder left unchecked, and he tries to stitch together his psyche by going out and just killing people. Like, because the killings are brutal. Like, he shoots one guy in the head, and there's nothing left to the imagination.
Yeah.
Eyeball pops out, brains are all over the place. Like, it's very explicit. And
he could be he could be schizophrenic because he's not a sociopath, at least as far as his day-to-day, because he does wear a mask. He doesn't care if other people... He doesn't necessarily harp on the fact that other people around him may not wear a mask, but he's fine wearing a mask, primarily because this way nobody sees him. Nobody knows who's under it. Right. But he obviously is following the rules, as the therapist or mom likes to say. He walks into the house to deliver the groceries, and he's not, he calls the ambulance. He calls for an ambulance before hanging up the phone. But he has the right mentality. He was brought up right, at least. Like he knows how we're supposed to behave. But whether or not that's where it ends, and once the boots come on, it's now all that's consumed him, and this is how he can make things right, or at least make his world right. And I'm down with it. I'm going to see where it goes. I am very interested to see how this plays out. I'd like to know what happened to Danny's brother. And now there's the whole mystery aspect, the whole detective work, because will he be caught? And if it's not Danny, is he going to get framed for it, or at least get caught up in the investigation? And obviously, if the killings continue while he's in custody, then we know he's not him. But it can go in a million different directions right now. But as far as the first issue goes, I felt it was strong enough to hook me and let me see where it's going.
I think the fact that the crocodile plays so strongly into the narrative lends me to believe that we're dealing with reptilian brain here, right? Where somewhere in the narrative, PKJ has it built around the concept of the reptilian brain and everything that entails. Because why would you specifically,
that's fair,
right, include something like a crocodile boot? The name of the series is Crocodile Black. So, I mean, it has to do with something centered around the reptilian brain and that everything that entails. So I'm hoping we get an examination of atypical thought processes and how they play out. And because, like Daph said, he does wear a mask, but he doesn't give a shit that, it's the right thing to do, or other people are doing it. He wears it because he doesn't want to be recognized. He doesn't want to be approached. He doesn't want to interact with other people. And so the narrative should spiral out of that, where he has complete disdain for other people, right? If you take a job or you embark upon, the whole hitman thing, you can't value human life all that much.
Definitely, yeah.
Right? If it's your job to just go in and clean house, humanity doesn't mean all that much to you.
See, and flipping through it now again, Danny, the detective, is definitely going to Detective Tribb is definitely going to be coming around to Danny's house, because when Danny goes back to get the boots, it looks like he breaks Black's feet or ankles to get the boots off. And so when the body is eventually found and they realize that his feet are broken post-mortem, then he was wearing something on his feet. If they were crocodile boots, if they find receipts or proof that my man owned crocodile skin boots, and that's who's going around killing people wearing these boots, as the detectives piece things together and realize that Danny may have been the delivery person, and may have been one of the last people to see Black's body. Not that I'm trying to write this story, but I could see Danny being cornered, and I don't know what's going to happen at that point. So that interests me.
It could be the dead guy possessing Danny through the boots.
Oh,
right. You don't know. It could be
or at least in his mind. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he. We don't know. He could have had a relationship
Maybe
with this guy.
An excuse for what happened to his brother, and now he'll have an excuse for the killings. It's like, oh, this guy. Yeah, I was possessed.
Right, he's assuming a different. Like it could be a standard possession, as in the paranormal, or it could be Danny having known this guy. We don't know. He could have known the dude. Adopt this person's persona in lieu of his own while he goes out and kills people. So who knows? I don't know. Like I'm saying, there's a lot on which to chew with this issue, and I thought it was exceptionally well done.
What do you think about the Soamcat?
Love it. I love the art.
Yeah, I like the art a lot. Yeah,
it's realistic, but it's also very painterly in some spots. I think the lines are very fluid. It's not, I don't want to beat this dead horse, but it's not Phil Noto. Phil Noto draws very realistically, but it does not have the spark or the liveliness of this art. I think this is extremely well done.
I really like the facial expressions. Everybody has a unique face. It's not your typical bullpen style where all the females are the same. It's just whatever color their hair is. It looks good. I like the line work a lot.
I got a very epic Marvel epic line.
Yes.
Specifically the Hellraiser books. There's a number of stories. This could have fit well within the Barker's Hellraiser series because, if you're familiar with that. I thought it was great.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like that dude has mainly been a video game and movie animator.
Well, he can do sequentials.
And plenty of backgrounds in the panels as well. There aren't too many just green backgrounds with someone's head in the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Nice. Well, speaking of good stuff, I introduced myself this episode as Mathieu Bablet, who should, for loyal listeners, be a name that they're quite familiar with at this point. But the partnership that Magnetic and Bablet have forged is quickly becoming one for the ages. And I have to say that this book that they just released, The Midnight Order, they continue to set a new bar when it comes to the physical production of the idea of a comic book. We have sung Magnetic's praises many times for that. They absolutely do not take shortcuts to save money when it comes to these books, which are, mainly their stock and trade is importing European works over here and translating them. They do other things, but that's mainly what they do. And this is no different. And they've got this model now that seems to be working well for them, where they kickstart the book and fund it that way, and then it does eventually make its way into previews in the comic stores. I know we've complained in the past about that model as not being all that particularly beneficial to the consumer, because if I back the Kickstarter, I'm basically paying full retail, and if I wait, I'm going to get a nice big discount. But I do in this case make an exception because I've been so overjoyed with the Magnetic collections over the years that I very much want to see them persist. And so it's kind of just like, I don't know, it's like I view it like, I don't know, giving them a tip or something. But anyway, the Midnight Order is the latest here. And it is, as soon as I took it out of the box, I was just marveling at the look of this thing. It is, it has an inlay of, it's like a red gold, like a rose gold spot varnish inlay that takes up probably about 60% of the front cover, and it almost looks like an old like plate metal, kind of like pressing. That's the kind of, it's incredible. It's so ornate that I almost can't believe it. And then they did the same thing on the spine and the back cover as well. And then the other thing, and I don't even know the term for this, so Vince, I'll put you on the spot. Maybe you know the term, but if I'm looking at the book, if you look at the pages, so if you look at like the the paper view of the, like if you turn it and look at it from the side of the paper, all three edges of the paper showing part of it have a graphic print design of like inlaid, it's almost like a checker design, that when the pages are closed, you see this beautifully ornate checker design going around the edges of the paper. And I haven't seen that too many times. I'm sure it's been done before, but I don't have too many comics on my shelves that went through that trouble. When
they do a gold or a silver or a red, it's called gilt. But that's not. I don't think that's what this is called. I don't know what specific pattern reproduction on the actual page ends.
Yeah, because the pages themselves, like the borders of the pages when you read through the book, are white. But when the book is closed and you're looking at it, it's like almost like a goldish brown. You would think the paper's goldish brown, and then it's got the same blue, dark royal blue of the cover, almost like a midnight blue. That's the crisscross pattern. It's just an impressive.
It's not cheap, whatever it is.
No, it's not cheap. They spared no expense, and I mean, this really does feel like an art object. It feels like the kind of thing that, regardless of the contents inside, you would want to have on your shelf for, like, in your library for generations. It's that beautiful, and I'm really, and it's funny because earlier today I get a DM from Brian Newbury, and he's just like, "Did you get the Midnight Order yet?" Now, he's also a devout Bablet fan, but he was like, "Can you believe this trade dress?" And I'm like, "Dude, it is insane." I know. Now, as to the story inside, well, what is it about? It is a world where witches were largely eradicated from the planet back in the roughly the same. It's like an alt history, so roughly in the same time that we had over those few centuries the purification of witches and supernatural practitioners. That happened in this world too, but now we're in the relatively near future, and a cabal of more powerful witches managed to stay together and form a secret organization called the Midnight Order, and their job is to protect both the world from supernatural forces. Even though the world is against them generally, they still feel a need to protect the world from other things, from truly evil things. And this particular story follows around a number of the members, most notably two characters named Sheridan and Johnson, who are almost like internal affairs. Their job is to hunt down and keep track of and/or remove from the playing field, if need be, witches around the world that are going bad, breaking bad, or getting too powerful. And this book is an anthology, unlike most of the Bablet works we've gotten. This is an anthology, meaning that Bablet has his hand in most of the book. There, I think, are 17 chapters. I believe he is involved in 15 of them, if I'm not mistaken. I should have written it down, and when I say involved, that means that sometimes he's writing and drawing the chapter. Sometimes he's writing the chapter and it's being drawn by another illustrator, and other times someone else is writing it and he's drawing it. And then there's, like I said, one or two chapters that appear to be nothing to do with him. But it is although it's an anthology in that way, it is a chronological story revolving around all of the things I set forth. And it's fantastic. It is fantastic. Again, I think Bablet is amazing. I cherish any time Magnetic's bringing us more Bablet, and this is another treasure in a long line of them for Magnetic at this point. I will say that because of the nature of the subject matter, and that not everything is drawn by Bablet directly, I wouldn't say this reaches the heights of Carbon and Silicon or Adrastea, but that's a super high bar as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I consider those two of the very best import comics we've gotten in the last decade. So I don't want that to sound like I'm saying this isn't worth your time. This is absolutely terrific. And if I had never read Carbon and Silicon or Adrastea, I would be just totally blown away by this and talking about how it's gobsmackingly good. So it's still very, very good. It's excellent. It's still an A, maybe even a high A. It's just not quite the A plus that we've gotten a few other times from him. But again, don't hold that against this book. So please do check it out. It is widely available if you didn't back the Kickstarter. And it's going to be something that you not only love reading and looking at, but you're going to feel just a twinge in your pants every time you see it sitting on the shelves.
Wow.
Yes.
That's an investment.
It's so good, dude. Dude, it's so pretty. It's so
No, it
pretty.
is. It is.
It's
but I mean, if I walked by a book on my shelf and I got a twinge in my pants, I would think that book was, money well spent.
Big damn right.
Just saying.
That's right.
Let's see. I will go with this one. The Stephanie Phillips is now the writer on the new Ghost Spider series. So newly launched Spider-Gwen, Ghost Spider, written by Stephanie Phillips, art by Federica Manchin, Matt Miller on colors. And we are now, Gwen is in the 616. No longer on Earth 65. She has a synthetic symbiote suit and web shooters.
Wait, how does one have a synthetic symbiote suit?
I believe that was handed off to her during one of the various Spider-Women Spider-Verse minis.
Okay.
I haven't got up to that in the small little trade collections that they're publishing. So I haven't read that particular story yet. So I haven't read the story. I read the last ongoing, which was right before the whole Venom Carnage event, and so I know she had her miniseries for that. She had the recent Spider-Gwen Smash miniseries. So I skipped a few of those to jump onto this first issue to see what the new status quo is going to be like. And she's basically Gwen Stacy. Well, obviously Gwen Stacy in this universe is dead, has been dead for a while. So she's been set up with a new identity, courtesy of Obi from the TVA, and anybody who's watched the second season of Loki is very familiar with Obi. And she's supposed to keep a very, very low profile. Like, you do not exist here. Unfortunately, that gets thrown out the window right at the start, because the issue starts with her trying to open up an account at the bank, and a man who looks an awful lot like Peter Parker. So the issue is kind of confusing almost immediately. But the bank manager or the guy behind the desk is letting her know that they can't offer her. We can't offer you a bank account even if we wanted to. And she's like, so you don't want to? And it's like, no, it's just like your name is Gwendolyn Stacy, and that's it. Like, there's no, that's all of the information you filled out. You've got no social security number. You've got no valid photo ID. Like, there's nothing for you. You're not giving us anything that will allow us to even let you open up an account. So she's trying to get her footing here in this world. But while this is happening, while she's having this argument with the bank staff, a couple of goons come in wearing masks and carrying weapons. And
isn't that always the way?
Always the way. And so she's like, well, shit. The deal was no suit. I can't get involved in this. There are tons of heroes in this universe. Like, anybody could be, just swinging or flying or hopping by, but no, she's got to do it, and she realizes that she's going to get in trouble for it. But she does save the day. She takes out the would-be bank robbers, and swings away. And while she swings away, there's a couple of panels where we see a odd-looking Peter Parker who appears to have sideburns and maybe mutton chops. I'm not quite sure what Federico was doing here, but Peter's looking around because the Times Square has got all the billboards up and all the flashing news images. Who is she? Who's the Spider Woman? So Peter's like, Gwen, and then you have Miles in costume on the top of a building, screaming at his phone, saying, "What is she doing here?" And then you have Silk eating takeout, and she's just like, "Oh, that's cool," and that's so the other heroes do know she's here, but when she gets back to her apartment, that's where Obi from the TVA is hanging out, and he's like, seriously, like, how could you? Everything we've been trying to set up for you, like why are you just trying to throw it out?
They're killing these Smalls.
so he's like, she's like, am I in trouble? Or he's like, I'm not. He's letting you know, I'm not doing this to make you feel bad, but it's you've got to be incognito. But she is asking, and he's like, she does say, listen, this would have been way easier if you didn't plunk me down in a universe where I already existed. And while that's fair, according to Obi, the TVA has reasons for her to be here. And there are reasons that are there to protect her and her family. So he's asking her why she was even at the bank, because they did provide her with an identity, which was the name of Lisa Rogers, and she's like, it's not it. That just didn't work. But everyone, she's complaining that everyone gets to have an AKA except her. She's just, she just wants something that's hers. She wants to be able to hold on to her identity. She does ask about. She asks how her dad's doing, and all Obi says is that he loves you, and then he blinks away. But the so she gets her scolding, and then we cut to the tarantula in just hanging out and sparring in a boxing ring with one of his lackeys. But he finds out that there was that there is the black tarantula is trying to become some sort of a kingpin. So while that's going on, Gwen is just enjoying the city, and of course there's a school bus on a bridge that's out of control. Actually, no, there's a bunch of school buses on a bridge because it's a field trip. There's a truck. There's a rig that's out of control that's heading right for the school bus to rear end it. Gwen tries to stop it, and she does. Unfortunately, Craven the Hunter shows up, and so he's fighting her, taking her out. Ends up hitting her with a dart, which drugs her, slows her down. She's just, her reaction time is for shit. This happens to be the same bridge, coincidentally, that Peter's Gwen was thrown off.
Of course.
So Craven totally gets the better of her. He's thrashing her left and right. She thinks she's going to come down with this roundhouse. He grabs her hand and stabs her in the chest and throws her off the bridge, and that's the end of the first issue. So we'll see where it goes from here. I like the art, but it's the Mansion is not as strong as Robbie, not as strong as the recent ongoing artist. But we it's fine for setting the stage, and as long as it's just. It was just weird to me that somebody who I thought was Peter Parker wasn't Peter Parker, and a dude who's supposed to be Peter Parker looks nothing like what I would expect. That doesn't even look like a Tobey Maguire Peter Parker. But I'm curious to see, how she has to handle herself and in the situation, because she's visited this universe in the past. It's not unusual for her to come by and either see Miles or even in the previous ongoing. She was a student, even though she resides on Earth 65. She would still come to NYU for school, so she was able to port between universes, and actually that was when Peter was an instructor at the college.
Talk about schlep, by the way. Like, I gotta go.
That is a hell of a commute, right?
Like, the fuck.
I mean, if I had something on my wrist that would get me there quick, that's great. I won't have to worry about the drive, but it's weird. But it's physics, man. They're not really anyway. It was an interesting first issue. I will be here for the second just to see where we go. When she was obviously in her own world, in her own universe, battling the bad guys that were based off of characters we're familiar with in the 616. She was kind of like a semi-biggish fish in a small pond, but here she's surrounded by other spider-based heroes, and she really isn't supposed to be here at all. So I kind of that part of the plot is kind of has me interested to see where Stephanie's going to take the character and the story. So yeah, I kind of I've enjoyed a lot of the Ghost Spider stories or Spider-Gwen stories that I've read. So this did not disappoint me. She, her first fight in this issue was against an older Spider-Man villain, so that was neat to see. So yeah, I'll be here with the second issue. I enjoyed it. I didn't have my expectations were kind of in the middle. I didn't know where we were going, but I was quite pleased with the outcome. So yeah, we'll see where it goes, and I can hope that the Mansion's art will improve over time.
Well, there you go. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here with us one more time around. Remember, who wants to save money? Raise your hand. Count them. Oh, everybody wants to save money? Go to cheapgraphicnovels.com. Cheapgraphicnovels.com will save you money. It's in the name. Omnibus editions, trade paperbacks, manga, OGNs, all that stuff. Slashed prices. Multiple percentages off. And you take that money that you save and you buy more stuff. That's how it works. Cheapgraphicnovels.com. Check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/11o'clockcomics. We'd love to have you as a family member on the Slack, or, the $5 tier gets you a bonus episode and other stuff. In your travels, I would like you to go out to buy an issue of one of the best regularly published comics on the stand. Now, when I say regularly published, it fills my heart with great joy, because in the past, this comic was not regularly published. In fact, it was very infrequently published. I want you to go out and read Savage Dragon number 270. We have received more issues to date in 2024 than Erik published in all of 2023. That's awesome. He's on a schedule. He's cranking them out. And the work is not suffering. They're really, really good. It's Erik Larsen. He always does good comics. Maybe this will wet your whistle. Maxine goes full frontal in this issue.
That girl.
Very little, extremely little left to the imagination. Now, you're saying, oh, this is Erik just exploiting the fact that Maxine is an attractive young lady. And he is, but there is a component in the story that makes it very believable. Maxine was kind of traumatized when Mickey stuck his face in her junk. And so she doesn't really want to leave the house. She thinks, if I go out, this mouse is going to accost me. So I'm just going to stay in the house. And someone convinces her, like, take your body back, woman. Get out there. Don't stay in the house. So she takes off all her clothes and goes into participates in a race with Malcolm. And nothing, well, there's some things left to the imagination. But for all intents and purposes, you get to see everything Maxine has. It's nice. There's a new villain at the end who basically fits the new social paradigm. Hates liberals, gays, everything, atheists, agnostics, and there's a laundry list of all of the people that this character's calling out at the end, and the dialogue balloons go on for days. And Malcolm's like, oh shit, another one of these wackos. But great comics. We get a little insight into Mr. Glum and Little Angel on Planet X, and I won't go into that anymore. If you haven't been up to date on this series, I won't spoil it. But it's Erik Larsen. He makes great comics, and this is no exception. Savage Dragon 270. It just fills my heart with joy that it's coming out on a regular basis again.
Yeah, my guys are feeling inspired this year.
Yeah, it's dirty. It's really dirty. I mean, Mickey Mouse sticking his face up in Maxine's crack, that's pretty dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mickey's a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You basically raped her. I mean, that's pretty much rape, right? If you stick your face.
Definitely sexual assault for sure, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, depending on where his nose went, like, yeah. I love it. Is Erik going to Heroes?
No.
I don't think so.
God damn.
He usually goes to New York, though.
He does, but I don't want to wait that long. I want to give him a big hug. And say,
Yeah, you know how to
my
reach
man. I know. Maybe we should have him on again.
Maybe. Make it happen.
Under the auspices of, hey, Erik, you're getting this stuff on a regular basis. Why don't you come on and tell us all about it? Talk to us about it.
That's right.
Yeah, let's do it. You do it. You're good with that.
Nah, Eric's your boy. You do make it happen.
He is my boy. Yep.
In your travels. Speaking of alternate universe Spider characters, Spider-Punk Arms Race recently wrapped up with the 4th issue, so be on the lookout for the trade. Written by Cody Ziegler, art by Justin Mason, colors by Maury Hollowell this time around, and
there's a name from the past. Jeez.
Yes. This was a fun little mini series. It picks up where the previous mini left off after Hobie and the gang took out Norman Osborn. This time around, your big bads are Doc Ock and Justin Hammer, although the latter not for long because the former kind of is fed up with his bullshit and kind of takes him out. So there's also an appearance by Black Panther and T'Challa. There is a really cool mech battle between the Spider-Van and a huge tentacled Doc Ock style robot. There's a lot of destruction in this book, both miniseries. I know. I mean, I gave Man of Steel a lot of shit for destroying Metropolis, more so than when the invasion in New York happened in the Avengers. But I mean, there are buildings. Just I don't understand how. I don't know if this is supposed to be Brooklyn, but I mean, it's insane how and some you will get a character or two show up to want to tear things down because they're trying to gentrify the neighborhood. But there just seems to be so much destruction. But the Spider Band consists of Spider-Punk, Colby Brown, Miss Marvel, Captain Anarchy, Riot Heart, and Daredevil, and they do some really, really good work. The art's fantastic. I really, really like Mason's stuff. It's fun. You really it's it's definitely a miniseries where while it is violent and there are casualties, the style, the illustrated style, and the attitude of the characters, it kind of feels like you're reading along with a video game, because every time you think, you meet a level, here comes the final boss, and so there's that kind of aspect to it. But it's witty, it's clever, it's charming. It really feels like even though you can be concerned about our heroes, lives really don't feel like it doesn't feel like you're really going to be upset when you're done reading this. Good will win, and at least that's been the impression I've gotten so far. Hopefully we'll get a third mini, see where we go from here. But this was just a lot of fun. It looks great. Any one of these 4 issues, they absolutely made me smile. So in your travels, check out Spider-Punk Arms Race.
Word up. I got to tell you that it had been a minute since I saw this gentleman's art, and seeing his art in this book, number one, makes me super happy because I hope it's a massive hit for him. Number two, I forgot how good he is, or maybe he's just gotten even better. And I'm talking about Garry Brown, because he and Gerry Duggan just launched a new image book called Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. Long title, but I like it. Falling in Love on the Path to Hell, number 1. As I said, it's by Duggan and Garry Brown. And it is fucking great, dude. The premise is as follows. It's 1876, Vince, and it's in L.A. And what have we been talking about? How we wanted a lot of, and now we're starting to see Western comics.
True that.
So 1876, L.A., a group of ne'er-do-wells is holed up in a church, hiding out from their pursuer. But this pursuer is not to be denied and doesn't give a damn about it being in a church. And his name is McCraith. And he goes into this church and he fucking blows the hell out of all of these ne'er-do-wells. And Garry renders this in beautifully gory detail. I'm talking about brain splatter all over the statue of Jesus Christ the Savior, Vince. It's crazy. So McCraith, clearly a badass, has been tracking them all over the West, finds them, takes them out. Unfortunately, though, homeboy gets got to. He did. He died. Then we switch to the other side of the world, quite literally, but still in 1876. And we meet a young woman named Ogata Asami. And we learn that she has, in fact, part of a long line of samurai, from a samurai family. And much to the chagrin of her mother, she was trained in the ways of the samurai, even though she's a woman, and has had to deal with that persecution. And we're at a point now where the Samurai Rebellion, which is a real thing, is pretty much ended. It's been put down successfully by the emperor. And the remaining samurai are kind of like paying their comeuppance, basically pleading fealty, and or if not, they're getting killed. And she's right about to basically plead fealty, but the baron or whoever it is in charge of that area of Japan at the time does something at the last minute to piss her off. And so she changes her mind and she fucking takes out everybody. And so in the first chapter, we see this awesomely gory Wild West shootout. In this, we see an incredibly beautiful and equally gory sword wielding battle where she is just beheading bitches left and right. I'm talking about straight, clean cuts off, go your head. But unfortunately for her, she also gets got. Like, she gets everybody almost, but she gets got at the end. And they're both dying, ready to die at the same time. And then something happens. Flash of light, lightning, earth tremors. And suddenly both of our protagonists who don't know each other and obviously are from other parts of the world, end up on a beach somewhere, and the beach is strewn with hundreds, if not thousands, of dead people. But they're alive. They don't know each other, and before they have a chance to get their the lay of the land, get their faculties about them, a gigantic creature, like a kaiju, kind of evocative of like an overgrown insect, like a centipede of sorts, rears its ugly head and attacks, and they have to use their skills to defeat the creature. And as they're just catching their breath from that, we meet a third character named Mohan, who is rendered as an Arabian warrior of some kind. He's got a scimitar, and he wears a turban and the like. And he waves them and says, "Hey, welcome to nowhere, and follow me." And that's pretty much how the issue goes. And Duggan, to his credit, does some beautiful wordplay in this, and he says, from that point forward, they walked a single path together. It led to hell. And I just thought this was the perfect first issue. It's beautiful, it's violent, it's action-packed. We learn just enough about the two main characters to care about what happens next, and we're left with a really enticing lead-in cliffhanger. So I think that's perfectly executed, and I hope this is a smash hit because I want it to go on for a long, long time. So yes, in your travels, if you didn't pre-order it, I'm giving you a chance to make amends, and that is go to your store and pick up Falling in Love on the Path to Hell #1.
There's very little difference between the Western and samurai genres.
That's the point.
Right
and
on.
I should say that the cover of this book is awesome. It is a direct homage to the Star Wars cover.
Yes.
Which is for those that know, is an homage to Kurosawa and the Seven Samurai. So
yes.
it's very much a nice conceptual continuity that ties all of this together.
Yep. If you want to see that image, where do you go? 11o'clockcomics.com. Click on the link for this episode, and what do you know? It's in the image gallery. So
Word.
You can see that. So, yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for being here with us one more time around. We hope you come back next time. We'll be at Heroes. So if you're at Heroes and you hear our voices, come on up. Give us a hug. Say hi. We'll give you a hug back. All that stuff. Looking for books? Yo. Or chasing after Jason, more likely. But,
yes.
Yeah. Heroes is going to be the place to be, and we will be there. So go out, get some comics, maybe at Heroes. Read them, talk about them. Come back here. We'll be talking about them and say goodnight. I don't want to use the same honeymooners thing again. I don't know. Play it where it lays.
Hello, I'm glad to have you aboard again, Chef of the Future. What have you come to show me? Have you invented a household utensil that does the work of all these old household...
David.
I love this. Still makes you crack up.
Oh, my God. It's forever. Forever.
Good night.
Nom, 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 nom. Poor Ralph. He tries so hard. He does try really hard. He's a jerk, but he tries hard.
Oh my God.
You can be a jerk and love Alice, and
David. Yeah, well,
that's your
obviously.
one. That's your one piece of redemption. You love this woman.
Everything
without
you do,
question.
As big as an asshole as you can be, it's all for her.
Oh
Everything
yeah,
he does
yeah.
is for her. So you can almost, I want to say forgive him, but you could understand it. But yes, it's he's not an asshole just to be an asshole. He's not pushing kids in front of trains just because that's the kind of guy he is. If it would make sure that she'd be set for the rest of her life, he would. But yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's and he's he
Ralph's
feels,
not looking for forgiveness though. He doesn't care. All he cares
yeah,
about is Alice. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. And a string of Peloponnese. There you go, people. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell them you love them.
Oh, so much, especially those that are Charlotte bound.
Yes.
Why do you got to put that conceit on it? Just say we love you.
Well, I do, but there
now
are
they'll
degrees
know
of
to
love.
go next time.
Oh,
I love you too. I love you guys more than I love other people that I love.
So many rules.
We only have. There's only so much love. It needs to be portioned off appropriately, man.
No, it's unlimited. Chili peppers, unlimited love.
It's not a Terry Moore portfolio. Nobody gets all the love the same.
It is definitely not a Terry Moore portfolio.
By the way,
has to be,
speaking of the chili peppers,
yes,
Wifey and I had to go to D.C. to move Colin into his new apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we were staying at a hotel, and you know how these days, I don't know how often you're staying at a hotel, but like it's a crapshoot. Like you never know like what the system's going to be like. Some have the ability for you to cast like your own streamer, like if you have some have the old school where it's like their own cable and pay-per-view, and then this particular place unfortunately had neither. So it had like basic cable, like 20 channels, like and we couldn't stream, like it didn't have any option to stream. So we're like, what are we going to watch? So we ended up watching Point Break, the OG film.
Nice.
And I had forgotten that Anthony Kiedis is one of the narrators.
Yes.
It's hilarious, dude. And dude, that movie, it is like the acting in that film is so bad, it's almost inconceivable. Like Keanu Reeves is a horrendous actor. Like the best career move he ever did was getting convinced like you should just shut the fuck up and kill people. Because like I love Keanu Reeves so much now, and it's because he doesn't ever talk. Because when he talked, marron,
100%, 100%. Yep. He's great in Bill and Ted because he's just playing himself. Right. At that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not a great actor. But and what was great about River's Edge is that because everybody's an awkward teenager, he fit in. But still, you put someone like River Phoenix in any movie, and it's you already know who's the shining in the room. But you leave Anthony Kiedis alone,
dude. That movie's it's crazy, dude. Because Gary Busey's like his partner.
I love that movie though.
And that Gary Busey's fucking clinically insane.
He is fucking messed up.
He's so crazy.
He is a physical and emotional mess.
It's absolutely baffling. And Lori Petty's
yes, thank you. That was
Lori Petty, the love interest, and yet like she's not like
she's not
classically sexy.
When you're looking at Johnny Utah, you could have anybody.
Yeah, it's really nuts, man. It's really nuts.
We love you, people.
I haven't bothered with the remake. Has anybody seen it?
I have not seen it.
Okay. Good night.
That's it for that one.